am I the bad guy for telling my parents that I'm not taking care of them when they get old? My mom hit me with a question a few weeks ago. I said no, and they kinda give me a hard time about it. I've been slightly no contact with my family for almost a decade, although I don't think they're aware of it. It's not that I avoid them, I just don't even reach out to them and only pick up calls every few months. I will explain why. It all started when I realized I was the black sheep in my family and it's never going to change and they were never going to accept who I am. I'm not special or different. I'm just a whitewashed kid who grew up in a very Asian gangster household. They wear all high-end clothing, drive expensive cars. I'm a skater, outdoor kid. I spend all my time outdoors. They didn't understand it. At 19, after being bullied, failed attempts at being manipulation, constantly being told I'm a crackhead. I didn't drink alcohol, didn't smoke until I was 22 because I skated. I picked my things up and moved out without saying anything. My mom was hesitant at first and demanded I come home. This is where the no contact started. I've been telling her for the last 8 years. If she's going to call, it's not to tell me how to live my life. And after all that time of me hanging up the phone anytime she started going about my life, she still doesn't get it and just called back a few weeks later. I've been fully self-sufficient since grade 10. They were consistently out of town for work. Later found out of them was just always on vacation and the other one was living in Asia, which his wife also did know he got married. After I left, my plans has always been take nothing, owe nothing. I justified it because growing up, they favored my sibling and give her everything. I'm talking LV, Gucci, D&G, etc. when she was in grade 10. Brand new iPhone when it came out and new BMW when she turned 17 and got her license. I had to pay for everything with my lunch money. And no one of them even showed up to my ceremony. Later I found out my parents left us 30K for the 6 months they were gone and my sister took it for her bills. They have paid for all her bills because she stayed at home and didn't move out until she was 27. Anyways, after all that, I haven't taken a second in mind for this since I left 10 years ago. I have a ton of very close friends. I call them my chosen family. I still continue to do everything I do. I travel almost every weekend. My parents hate it all. They don't like me having white friends, and they don't like me traveling because I need to work harder. For reference, my sister makes 70K max while I do about 120K. I have great lifelong friends, my chosen family, and I'm happy that they're not really in my life anymore. This has been burning my mind for the last while, and I really want to believe it's fair that I feel this way. I'm just wondering why they think they're going to get away with it now that they have provided for me versus my sister. So I'm not the bad guy for not wanting to take care of them when they're old. I'm not the bad guy if I will leave my job. So hello, I'm a female, 21. I have been at this job since December. I babysit 6 kids ages 6, 2, 3, 5, 9, and 13. I get paid about almost $200 a month. So majority of the time I have the 2 youngest ones, while the other ones go to school. Almost every day the mother texts me about something that I didn't know do. It will be over the little thing, like I forgot to clean off the high chair. This has happened multiple times when she will treat me with losing job. Here is my schedule on a typical weekday. So 1. I get there at 4:30 a.m. 2. If the baby is awake, then I put him to sleep. 3. At 6 a.m., I will wake Kate up for school. 4. I will help the girl, she is 3, just get dressed and brush her hair. 5. Trying to get the older boys to wake up. 6. At 7 a.m., I make sure the boys are ready for the bus. 7. I just get 2 middle ones ready for the bus. 8. I wait for the middle bus to come because it never comes on time. 9. At 8, I wake up 2 and 6 months old. 10. I change her butts and gets the baby food ready. 11. I entertain the kids until about 10, when the baby goes down for his nap. 12. The 2-month-old goes down for her nap at 19:40. Within that time range, I kept on changing butts and I feed them. 13. When kids are all down for their naps, I clean, I sleep, and vacuum, wipe down stuff, make new bottles, do the dishes, and started a load of laundry for the parents. 14. At 2 p.m., I wake up the 2 little ones. 15. I change their butts and I feed the littlest one yet again. So the first time, he's already had a 4-bottle feeding in one baby food feeding. 16. The 2 older boys get off the bus and they do their chores. 17. Around 3:20 to 3:30, the 2 middles got off the bus and I have to sign for them. 18. I finish cleaning up the living room. I send the kids to outside to play while keeping an eye on the baby. 19. By this time, the parents will normally come home around 4 and 11 p.m. There are days that I do have to stay over 2+ hours. When that happens, the mother tells me I didn't clean or do anything. All I do is sit on my butt and do nothing. Also, on top of that, the 2 older boys don't need help with I ask for help. I have done so much for this family. At the end of the day, all I get is told that I'm worthless and they are going to find a new babysitter. So please, let me know am I the bad guy for leaving them to find a different job. And also update, I talked to the mother about the way she's treating me. She said that the only reason why she makes me feel in this way is because she's done with taking care of her kids. She's also getting mad that her youngest daughter is calling me mommy and not her. She's thinking that if she is a witch to me, I will leave her. I told her if she wants me to leave so badly, give me time to look for a new job. Am I the bad guy for playing with my phone at church? For context, I'm an ex-Christian and she is a Catholic. Currently, I'm an atheist, and I kind of hate religion due to how I was first in when I was growing up. For example, parents will give me punishments if I don't come with them to church, pouring water our face to wake up, and go to church with them. We have to wake up and pray every night, as a whole family holding hands. If I sleep before we get to pray together, I will get threatened for punishment like taking away all gadgets and just grounded in general, many other instances. To be honest, but that's the ones I can remember right now. And she knows there is facts, by the way, and she also knows that I'm an atheist. We were talking about religion in general, and then I told her that I dread coming back to my home country, currently an international student, this year because they will perhaps force me to do lots of religious activities I don't want to. I told her casually that, oh well, I'll just perhaps play with my phone during the whole church time. And then she started to say that I'm rude for doing so. I argued back, saying that I'm basically going against my will, so how is it rude? I don't even want to go to church. She still insists that it is rude and disrespectful. Then I said I basically have to go every Sunday, every week, unwillingly. So why do I have to listen to whatever is going on at church? And she just say that essentially I should not be doing that. I don't know, after that, I just told her that's just a weak argument to have. Then we were separate ways, went back to my house. So, am I the bad guy? Am I being disrespectful? I was just thinking that maybe I shouldn't have even discussed religion much, but damn. Am I the bad guy for not buying special food for my son? So, hello, I'm a male, 53. Son, James, he is 15, he's male. Decided a few months ago that we wanted to be vegetarian. Me and his brother all consider ourselves kind of carnivorous, but apart from the standing and ribbing, pun not attend. I told him that as an experience in responsibility, he'll be responsible for preparing his own food. He's totally okay with this, and so everything was progressing well until a few days ago. The wife and I were throwing a house party. I grilled a few steaks and smoked a brisket for occasions, and my wife made chicken parmesan. And as the guests filled in and the table filled out, Jay asked if we had made anything for him to eat. I reminded him of our agreement, and he said he didn't think it will be expensive parties when we were making food for its son of guests. I laughed a bit and told him he should have asked in advance so he could prepare. But he couldn't probably bank on one of our guests to bring something vegetarian. I guess the only vegetarian option turned out to be spring rolls, because I saw his plate and that's all he had on here. One of my friends saw too and asked what was up, and Jay told him he was vegetarian and that we didn't make anything for him. My friends poked fun at me, but it was still pretty clear he thought less of me for not making food for the kid. After the party, I laid into G a bit for talking bad about me in front of guests. I laughed a bit and told him he should have asked in advance so he could prepare, but he could probably bank on one of our guests to bring something vegetarian. I guess the only vegetarian option turned out to be spring rolls, because I saw his plate and that's all he had on there. One of my friends saw too and asked what was up, and Jay told him he was vegetarian and that we hadn't made anything for him. My friend poked fun at me, but it was pretty clear he thought less of me for not making food for kid. After a party, I laid into a Jim bit of talking bad about me in front of guests, and he said all he did was tell them the truth. This brought me out a bit, but he's pretty sad on his feelings. So, am I the bad guy? Am I the bad guy for shooting at my dentist until he teared up? My biggest insecurity is my teeth. Back in October, I had a dentist appointment. When I asked him how long the waiting list was for braces, he told me I will get them in 6 months. So now it's April. It's been 6 months and nobody has contacted me. The dentist, not the orthodontist. So I booked an appointment myself because I was already having tooth pains, so I was planning on going to the dentist anyway. Yesterday was my appointment, and I asked the dentist why my referral was taking so long, and he forgot. He forgot to refer me to an orthodontist. So I had basically waited 6 months for nothing. I was so excited to get braces because I like I mentioned I'm extremely insecure of my teeth. But I just wasted my time waiting because he can't do his own job correctly. Also, he needs to send the referral now, and I have to wait another full 6 months when I could have got them if he took his job seriously. Ask him if he could at least try to make an exception for me and move me up to the waiting list. He said no. Now this is a part where I may be the bad guy. I screamed, "Are you kidding me? Are you a stupid idiot?" And I don't remember the rest that much, but I was just calling him out in front of the rest of his colleagues, and he got really, really red and embarrassed. I will paraphrase, but I was talking about how bad he is at his job, and he should just quit. And that I would report this. He started tearing up and apologizing. I told my mom and sister about this, and they told me I was super childish and unprofessional for having a tantrum like that. And it's not his fault. Humans make mistakes. Blah blah and so on. They also told me I shouldn't report him and that I would be a bad person if I did. They said that I was extremely dramatic and it was not that big of a deal, but to me, it was. Because I really do hide my teeth, and I was just so frustrated because now I have to wait another 6 months. Also, their teeth are perfectly straight, so they don't know how I feel. They think I'm a bad guy here. And I do feel bad, but I had reason to act the way I did. But was I too unprofessional? What do you think? I'm not the bad guy for refusing to go back into work 7 hours after I was shuttled off. I'm a department manager at a big box store. I was shuttled to be the closing manager on duty up until 9 p.m., which is fine. I don't care. But then they shuttled me at 4 a.m. the next day to help with inventory. I told them I could not. Store manager insists I do. I offered to come in early and then leave at 5 p.m. instead. Then return at 4 a.m. next day. Store manager refused this offer. I'm literally not needed until 9 p.m. as the person shuttled to close my department knows how to do the job, and it doesn't really involve anything besides dealing with anything unexpected that may happen. So I'm not needed. I would have to work 7 hours I've been off. And to make things worse, me and my girlfriend's house is about 30 minutes away in another state. So I ended up just not coming at the 4 a.m. I literally slept through my alarm. I ended up coming in around 6 a.m. Then they blamed me for not being there. Inventory went horribly. They didn't get enough done before we opened, so customers came in and grabbed stuff off the shelf, and they were counted. Then the customer purchased the products, making our count incorrect from the get-go. Is this my fault? Inventory is semi-annual, so I couldn't fix it for another 6 months really. Once again, I literally slept through my alarm. Am I the bad guy for planning a wedding at the same location as my cousin? My fiance and I are planning a wedding in France. We were originally planning to get married in the US. We changed our mind and decided on an intimate wedding with only immediate family and wedding party after being overwhelmed by the process. We found out after deciding on a destination wedding that my cousin planned to have a reception for her wedding in the same city. Her fiancé has French family members, and a wedding in the US. We laughed on the coincidence, but through nothing of it. My mom told my aunt the 3 locations in France we are looking at for our ceremony. My cousin, who I'm not close with, tracked down my phone number to call and tell me she knew I was looking at 3 locations and wanted to inform me she booked one of them. Also, she wanted to switch to just a destination wedding because she was also overwhelmed. I told her no worries, we aren't inviting many extended family to our wedding, no issue. She said she thinks it will be weird if we both planned a wedding at the same location. I told her I couldn't care less and they will be different nonetheless. Also, none of her guests will be present at the wedding. My wedding is in March of the next year. His in the September next year. So, am I the bad guy if we pick the same location for our wedding ceremony, even though she knew we were considering it before she booked?